Are you like me? You have some ugly scrapbooking paper and lots of scraps. I decided it was time to do something about it, and I'm probably not going to get all of my ugly scrapbooking paper used up, but I'm making a try here. What I'm going to do is make some scripture cards, and these are some that I had in my stash. I like the size of them. They're 3 inches by 6¼ inches, and I really like that size. And I figured out that if I cut one of these ugly scrapbooking paper, if I cut it in half, so that 6 inches and 6 inches, and then cut 4 3-inch sections, I would have 8 cards of this size. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm not a very confident collager, and so what I did is I did this off camera, and I chose my papers and I placed them on the page in the order I thought I would like them. Then I went back and glued everything down, and this took most of yesterday afternoon because of my indecision. But anyway, this is what I've got now, and so I'm ready to trim up the edges and cut the pieces into the right sizes. So you can see on the back that this paper had information printed at the bottom. I'm going to cover that up with a strip of paper once I get everything else trimmed up. But what I'm going to do right now is just trim off these extra edges. Can you see that? There's a little bit of sticking out there. So I want that to all be even. And I'm just going to use my knife. It's probably the best thing when it's just a little bit like that. So I'm just going to place my ruler right up here at the edge. And just cut off that excess right there. I'm going to do this on all 4 sides. Whoops, it didn't cut all the way through there. I think I got it into the paper, but I'm going to take my scissors and trim that off now, since it was almost all the way off anyway. You could leave that sticking out there like that, but it's not very stable, so I'm just going to trim mine off. If you would like a ragged edge all the way around, that would be fine too. Or it wouldn't be all the way around, it'd be on one end. I don't know if my knife is a little bit dull or if this is just difficult to do. And what you can do with these is you can make tags, or you can make bookmarks or journal cards. What I'm going to make is some scripture cards, and I may make a few of the other items as well. Hidden. Fast forward past this and come back with the other side, and we'll cut the cards. Now we've got it trimmed up on the edges. I had to go back. I use a glue stick to glue my paper, my scraps down to the page, and I noticed in some places it was popping up. So I went back with my little needlepoint glue bottle and went in. You know, if it was poking up, I went in under it and put some glue under it and pressed it back down again. So I think everything is stuck now, but there may be some that pop up. I don't know. We'll have to see as we go. Now, if you had a guillotine to cut this with, that would probably be ideal, because you could just cut the pieces. But I don't. So I don't think my little trimmers are strong enough to do this. So what I'm going to do is just place this on my mat, and I'm going to cut the center slice first, so that I have 2 pieces that are 12 inches by 6 inches wide. And I hope my little knife is going to cut through this okay. I might need to break it off to a sharp new one. Okay, I want to make sure that I've got 6 and 6, because I don't want them wonky. Yes. Okay. Let's see how this does. And watch your fingers as you're doing this, because I know what happens when you don't. When I worked in composition at a newspaper here in Sherman years ago, I was doing page layouts, and I was talking and holding and cutting, and I sliced the side of my finger. It didn't bleed too much. It wasn't too bad, but it taught me a lesson. Okay, so now I'm going to cut each one of these into 3-inch cards. And you probably have seen cutting into 3-inch cards a number of times. So I'm going to do this and come back after I have 8 of these cut. But I'll do this first one before I go. Okay, there's the first one. As I said, this would go much faster with a guillotine type cutter. And it might be easier to cut it on the back too. So, but it doesn't matter which, if you cut it on the back or on the front, it doesn't matter. The only thing is when you cut it on the front, you see what you're getting, and it may or may not suit you. There may be some things after you get it cut, after you get them cut, that you're not too crazy about, like that right there, with that little bit of type there. You might think, well, that needs to be more. Same thing there. And so I might come back with some more scraps and just add something over the top. But that's the first 4, and I will be back in a minute. Okay, I have my cards cut now, and I had to do a little gluing on a couple of them, to like here where that didn't stick down real well right there. If you want to right now, if you like the rounded corners, you could go ahead and round the corners now. You can do that later after you've decorated it, or while you're decorating it. It's fine. I was just thinking about which ones I think might make good cards for a vertical card. And I think I like that one for a vertical card. And maybe this one too, because it's so plain. It could have something added to it to be vertical. So I'm going to set those to a side and come back to those later. And let's see, which one do I want to work on first? I think I'm going to do this one. I'll set these aside. You can decorate these any way you want to. This is just what I'm doing. I'm making them scripture cards. I got a new set of stamps. They're new to me. They're not new, but they're scripture cards. There's 9 of them, and they're like this, that I think are a nice size. They're not big like these are, which is, if you want it to stand out, these are a good size. But these are nice. This is the day the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. That was my mother's favorite verse, so I always have a fondness for it. You could put some cheesecloth behind something that you want to put on there. You could add ribbons or lace or whatever you want to do. I'm going to keep this one pretty simple, and I think I just want a verse that kind of fits in the middle. So I kind of like that right there, so I may do that. I'm going to tear it out. It says, "You are inscribed on the palm of his hand," and that's from Isaiah 49:16. This is just on some, I think it's drawing paper. It was another scrap that I had laying around. I have more scraps, so I really do need to be doing this project multiple times. And you could take it to this point where you have these cards set up, blanks, and just set those aside and keep them. And when you're working on a project and you have a specific design or style or something, then you could decorate them to match what you're making. So that is like that. This has gold on it. I think I'm not going to put gold. I had thought about putting gold around the edge of that, but I think I'm just going to ink it a little bit with some our old favorite vintage photo. And one of my thread spools that I put one of those felt tips for putting on chairs to keep them scratching the floor. That's my daubers. Most of them. I have a few of the kind that you buy, but this works just fine. Especially, it seems like the more ink that is accumulated on that felt, the better it works for this. Okay, get this over here. Okay, so that's going to go in the middle. And then we could put stickers behind it. We could put a stamp a design behind it. On the one I made the other day for this little book, this one that I made for it. I actually used this stencil, Tim Holtz stencil, and just put some stencil on that brown paper. So you could also do that at this point if you wanted to. I may just keep that one out for inspiration. So, but this is kind of busy. Maybe something down this side would be nice. Maybe some of this on there would be pretty and different. So maybe I'll do that. This, obviously, this is not square. This is one of those papers out of a scrap pack, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm just going to mark it here. And there. And I think what I'm going to do is cut this straight, as straight as I can. I keep getting out of the camera. I'm sorry about that. And I don't know if this will tear or not, but I'm going to try. Oh yeah, it's tearing fine. This is very soft paper. And then I thought I would just put it on this way, on that corner, and maybe have this go over the top of that. I don't like this visa down here. I don't think I can tear it off. I re-glued it so it's stuck, but I think I might need something else to cover that up because it doesn't say the whole word, and so it looks a little strange there. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my Deco Color Premium Gold paint pen, and I'm just going to go across this edge here. Put something under it so I don't mark on my mat. And just cover that up with some gold. Just maybe even sloppily. I don't know if I'll like that when I get done with it or not, but that's what I did. Give that a second to dry. And then I'm going to glue this on with some Fabri-Tac. Make sure it holds to there. And then we'll see how it looks. Maybe I'll do that side because it's got more speckles on it. I hear a train whistle. I don't know if you can hear that or not. Okay. Let's put this over this. Checking on the back to make sure it's lined up right, and I'm going to need to trim just a bit off the top. I think that was the edge I cut by hand there. Okay. I wish I'd made that paper a little bit longer so that it would go over that. In fact, I may do that. I may redo that and make it longer so it comes across this. But I'm not going to make you watch me do that. So that's what it's going to look like, more or less. Maybe we'll do one of the ones that I said would be a good vertical one. I like this one pretty good. And I don't like that little dab of, it needs something more than just that. I think I'm going to put some washi tape on it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this washi tape, this white that has the butterfly on it. I think. See how it looks when I put it down. I think I'd like that. I think what I'm going to do is put it down and then cut it. So the butterfly is going to be off a little bit. Well, I'm going to put it like that. And these could be bookmarks if you wanted them to be thinner. Actually, I'm going to wrap a little bit of this to the back. for a bookmark, you could make it thinner, make a thinner piece if you wanted to, and you could put a hole at the top and put some ribbon in it. I may do some of those and show you how it looks. Anyway, this is the one that has this printing on the back, and I had a strip here somewhere that I thought would cover that up nicely. Yep, that'll fit. I'm just going to use some Fabri-Tac because I know it'll be quick and easy. I'm going to turn that. I don't know about that. I'm having second thoughts about wrapping that paper around there because I'm going to have two vertical strips there that I don't think I'm going to like. So I think what I'm going to do is cut it off and move it to this side. And I think I'm going to get rid of that butterfly wing there that's not even recognizable because of such a small piece of it. There we go. I probably should put some extra glue under there to make sure it sticks, but I'm in a hurry. Okay. So then we have that. This would be pretty to put something that says nature. That it did have nature on that. So I don't think I have a stamp that says nature. We'll just leave this one plain for now. And I think on this one I will round the corners just a little bit. But I hope you like this idea, and it's not a new idea. I'm just thinking about it being a good way to use up paper that you don't like and disguise it so that it's something you do like, and have some useful pocket fillers in your stash. So there's that one. I still feel like it needs nature or something right there. I'll see what I can find on that. And then this one I did. And these are the other ones that I haven't finished yet. Sometime soon, maybe. I think that one would be good for a vertical one. Maybe that way. I went away and did some work on the rest of the card. Well, all but this card. It's not finished. So I have one for my starter kit set. What I wanted to do was just show you what I've done. This is the one I did for this little gratitude journal. And I was going to tell you, I didn't mention it, but just did this one on an index card, a 4x6. I cut off an inch of it so it would be that basic same shape. These are 6 inches. All of these are 6 inches. And the ones I showed you that I had gotten some other time have an extra 1/4 inch on there. But I think this size, the shape of this is still acceptable to me anyway. So anyway, that was the one I did the other day. And these are the ones I did this afternoon. I'm just going to go through them kind of quickly. Most of these I used my new stamps I got. This one says, "You are inscribed on the palm of his hand." Isaiah 49:16. And this one, it takes me forever to make up my mind. So that's one reason that I turned off the camera, because you would have left me long ago if I'd been doing that. Anyway, I added this piece on here because I think I may have done that already on the other video, because I didn't like the way it was balanced. I added the sticker behind here. I stamped the scripture on some of my drawing paper and glued it down, inked around the edges and glued it down. And this one, my stamps are falling over. This one says, "Sing to the Lord with thankful hearts," Colossians 3:16. And on this one, I took forever to decide whether I was going to put this bird here or put a different bird over here. But this is what I ended up with, and I used the music to kind of tie in with the singing. And I used a stencil to add some extra background to that one. That was some of the other things I was going to mention, that you can use stencils and stamps, stickers, scriptures, quotes, or or other words or whatever when you decorate these. And some of them I decorated the back. These two are plain. I didn't put anything on the back, but you could certainly do that. This one says, pleasant words are as honeycomb sweet to the soul. Proverbs 16:24. And on this one, I just added brown paper behind the quote. As you can see in this picture, I added a couple more decorations on this card. The flowers on the right side, the bee, and a yellow postage stamp to kind of balance it. I tore out the quotes that I stamped and inked around them on almost all of them, or maybe all of them. This one is the one I said was my mother's favorite scripture. This is the day the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And it's Psalms 118:24. And on this one, I tore down this piece a little bit. I was trying to decide if I would leave that type there or not, and I kind of liked it, so I tore this smaller and added a couple of stickers with that. If you don't have stamps, here's an option that you can consider. I wrote this out and just shaded the letters. And it's not perfect, but I still kind of like it, and it's kind of big. It says, draw near to God, and he will draw near to you, James 4:8. And I'm happy with the way that one turned out also. I had this, that was from a dictionary, I think it's witch hazel, but it was just a little botanical there. Then this one, I made it as a vertical, and it could be either a tag or a bookmark. I tied some ribbon up here in the top and stamped Imagine on this. This is a brown paper sticker, and stamped I had this on this paper already, and I stamped it again up there and on the back. And that ink is, I think I stamped that off pretty much when I did that one. That was a scrap I had, so it was from before, but this I'd stamped today with the ink. That ink is Distress Ink Festive Berries. Then I decided to do this one with the gold embossed. I embossed it, and then I used my gold pen to highlight it. I decided to make it a Christmas stamp. It says, Joy to the world, a king is born. And these are all stickers that I put on there. And I put the camel on the back, bringing the treasures from the wise men. So those are the ones I've done today. I hope you like them, and that you will have some fun doing this too. I noticed that I got into it. The more I did, the more I liked it, and I was having fun with it. At first, it was kind of like, oh, what am I going to do? I need to finish this up, and all those thoughts. So if you can identify with that, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful holiday. We're right before Thanksgiving. It's probably going to go up after Thanksgiving, so in that case, I hope you had a wonderful holiday if you celebrate Thanksgiving. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.